Welcome back to the club podcast. How we doing, boys? All right?
No bad.
That was a flat
That
start.
was a bad start, but I can see, mate, it's still been
I wasn't ready for that.
No,
There.
I was doing on the ready. I was messaging boys all last night, mate, trying to get the 4-1 on, but too late notice, wasn't
Says a lot about our character, doesn't it?
I know.
They're on
I've
about it
never
when things are going
well.
well. Wait, so we were at the Dregs then, aye?
Well, you were the first day I mentioned.
Aye, right, that all went into it.
Yeah, do you know I messaged Del, right, so boys are working on it. Right, listen, I get that. You know what Del's reasons they can't come?
Right.
He's doing a gym session.
Aye.
That's a
Dedication,
shambles,
mate,
innit?
innit?
That
You'd
is
never
a
do that.
shambles.
You're going to go to the gym if you're free, mate. So there's chances
I don't
not
agree
to-
with Donald Trump. I don't know if I can say his name. Well, he can, he's all right.
Why the fuck do you know what he says?
Donald Trump came out one time and said he disagrees with running or putting your body through it. And do you know what I mean? Fitness wise, not because you're putting it through, it shouldn't get put through.
Mate, that's like my grandpa says that to me, because it was the Great Scottish Storm was on. He's like, what about all right, daft, he's running and all that. He's like, God invented motors, so we didn't need to run.
That's my team talking more for the voice. Rogers 3 games a week, mate. How's the body dealing with this?
I'm actually feeling all right.
Are you?
Because I slept for Monday, Tuesday all day because I was no well.
You weren't feeling good, were you?
No, I wasn't feeling well. So I've actually, just a wee point you were saying there, I've actually not done the gym Monday, Tuesday, so I'm feeling all right.
I stay off the gym, I think.
I was back in it this morning before
yeah?
I came here. So Del, up an hour earlier.
What would you say though to sort of mere senior players playing brothers, that what do you do? I know you've not done much when you've been no well, but what do you do in between games for recovery and that?
Sit in my Normatex for about 5 hours.
Do you?
No 5 hours. So just at night, a couple of hours in the Normatex, Theragun, and an ice bath every day.
What's the Normatex?
See the big machines that go
Oh,
on your
right,
legs
aye.
and
Of your
compress?
Right.
Just sit in them.
Do you do ice bath every day?
Every morning, aye.
Fucking Wim Hof here, man. That's class though.
Mate, every morning? What time? 6 in the morning? 7?
No, just 7:30.
Thinking my Wally and that after.
What do you think, is that the sort of thing that, do you regret not doing that? I don't know if you did it in your sort of younger days. I do,
I wish I knew what I knew now when I was younger.
I suppose a lot of people could say
And I wish I
that.
never done half the stuff I did as well.
But to be fair, you're still playing.
Well,
so.
I think like doing the gym, I've always done the gym,
Uh-huh.
but I used to go to the weekends when I was younger and that, see if I never done that and I knew the recovery and what to do for your body, because you just went into the gym to look good when you was younger. Now you do it specific for football.
Uh-huh.
I wish I knew all of that, but now I feel as if I don't do the gym, I don't feel as energetic or...
Aye, mentally sharp.
Aye,
Aye, I totally agree, mate. I say that, like, obviously, no problem if you're doing it for your football purposes, but I always say that, like, I go to the gym, go run and stuff like that, but it's more like for sort of mental purposes, 'cause I just feel more energised, feel mentally sharper, feel happier. It's not really about mental.
Back in the day, mate, the recovery was good, wasn't it?
Aye.
Wasn't it? Everybody used to go out, the full team steaming, literally about 3 times a week. Did you do that at every club you were at?
Every club I was at, I probably stopped it when I was at Rotherham.
Did you?
Aye, and then I taken it super serious then. But I think because doing in England as well, you can't go out as much, there's so many games.
Aye, you playing
So it's all about recovery, your Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. And that kind of drummed into me a bit, that you need to do it properly.
Mate, that was like, even see Andy come through at Livy, mate, every Saturday, Tuesday, he went to Carbon.
Aye,
Every
100%.
Saturday, Tuesday.
mad,
Which that would just, even
that
like...
was the thing, aye.
But that was him. And I don't think he drank all the time, to be fair.
Just went out, aye.
He just went out, so maybe he drank on a Saturday, not a Tuesday or whatever.
We done that. Like, I remember we played Barcelona on a Tuesday night with Rangers, and we've just drew 0-0, and the boys are like, right, where are we going?
Aye.
And we've got a game at 12 o'clock on the Saturday.
Jump with social media now, you probably
you
wouldn't have done that then.
Aye,
So
you can't do that now.
We're straight out to Carbon. So,
Would you keep that under wraps, or would the manager know?
Nah, Walter was all right. He was like, as long as you're winning and performing, I don't care what you do. I think that was the old school thing, wasn't it?
Aye.
That's unbelievable.
But even like, so that's at that level. I mean, you're talking about playing fucking Barca. I'm saying with Andy, first team at Livy. See, even my boys playing under 20s development league, I genuinely don't believe they would be doing anything like that. Because I just think nowadays, like, boys are so, you're talking about gym and stuff like that, they probably do want to go to gym all the time because I already look and fucking putting pictures on, all that kind of things. But I think, like, these days with all the information out there about recovery and fitness and that, boys just take it so much more serious now, which is obviously really good.
The sport, the game of football now, you're an athlete first, I think.
Aye.
And then the teams see that if you're an athlete, we can teach you how to play. If you're not an athlete, you're not going to get a chance, I don't think.
See, to be fair, see what you've said, me being at academy, a lot of scouts did used to say that. Even at a young age, which I don't know, is that right, is that wrong, I don't know, but they would sometimes say this boy's got every physical attribute, it's down to you to kind of make
You couldn't get away with it now though, couldn't you? See, we've been, because all the test players get done with fat tests and all that, you get caught out, wouldn't you?
GPS, it doesn't lie, it's stats.
I know.
See if you go on a pitch and you don't run about and you don't do your job,
You know right away.
That's murder.
Straight away, yeah.
So glad we don't have bad news.
You've had 3 shags this week, haven't you? How you recover for that? How's your recovery been for
The
that?
heart rate monitor was right on, wasn't it?
Fuck mate, I'm struggling. Shagged it.
Robbie boy, on the A licence this week, mate.
How do you know? Did I tell you?
You told me this morning, didn't you?
Aye mate, aye, it's good to be fair. See, this
Just you
part...
started?
Aye, so this part's just the sort of Zoom element. You've done your B,
I've done
haven't
my
you? Oh, you've done your A,
Aye.
aye. So when was that you done it?
3-4 years ago.
Right, so when you done it, then you probably had to go to like the Oriam Malars at the full time. So now, because probably since COVID and that, obviously people are...
Was it just
kind of
everyone through Zoom?
No, just to see the sort of classrooms.
I was like, surely COVID's gone now.
Just get a tactics one, mate.
I did that session in your kitchen or something.
I know. You'd love it. You'd be brilliant.
Surely you need to go up for a week though.
Aye, so the initial phase yet you just do on Zoom. So this week, for example, it's been like they're telling you, right, this is what you're going to be doing when you're on the pitch. You've got a couple of like football psychology lectures. So we got with Don McNaughton.
I'm not sure who
He
it
used
is,
to go into
mate.
Rangers, stuff like that. And then Steve Salas, heard him. He's quite reputable. He was on that high performance podcast. That
Right.
him.
Oh, is he, huh?
Aye, mate, he's good to be fair.
Is he good, aye?
Aye, it's good. So you've got that. Then you just have like, you go into breakout groups, talk about, like discuss certain things. Like with a B licence, you obviously have your themes that you're given for your assignment, and then you'll be given one of 3 formations, whereas with A licence you get one of 8 formations. So you'll go into breakout groups, you'll talk about like pros and cons of each formation. That's one thing you've done. You get like a lecture for referees about the laws of the game. This one is about VAR. And then we've got a week next week, and then when it comes to next year, we've got 2 kind of on the pitch practice weeks. But now, you see your assignment now, it's an online submission. So you need to do 2 sessions, videoed yourself, mic'd up, and then submit it online, which is difficult.
That's easier, mate.
Do you think so?
See that waiting, see when you're put in and there's about say 12 years there, and your time's next up, or you're waiting all day thinking about it, and everybody's watching you.
Aye,
That's brutal, mate.
But it's more the. I mean, I don't have that equipment to video a session. I don't have a mic. Well, you can borrow yours. You know,
I got one, mate.
just went up to it, but you need to. You need to have a full 11-a-side pitch for a start. The majority of people there don't have that. I work with a third of a pitch.
So will you do yours with the team?
My team?
Are you allowed to do that?
Aye, you
team,
can.
aye.
So obviously that element of it's good. But I'd probably just I wouldn't use a training session to do it. But to be honest, because the things that like you'll probably agree, the things that they're asking you to do isn't something you would normally do in your training session. So I would probably just need to do it my own time. And then it's I need to hire out a full fucking pitch. You need to get video equipment, and then you need to figure out how to edit it and upload it and stuff like that. So that obviously is a challenge, but I suppose that's part of it. That's probably becoming a big part of the game now. So you need to kind of learn
So
that
that's
side of
completely
things.
changed. When I did it,
Aye,
it
it's
was
totally different.
we went. There was 2 11-a-side teams. The assessor just sitting watching you. I had to go and tell them what I wanted, and if they obviously never did it, I was to stop it, show them. And then he just wanted to see if you can get control of a group and things like that.
Aye. So it's like the same criteria, but rather than you go through to Orium and an assessor do it, you just need to video it yourself. So I mean, you could do it, watch it back and say that was shite, and just do it again. So you
And that's what I'm thinking there. You can get a lot of attempts, because I've been out I've done my children's award, and I went out there in the middle in front of everybody and completely fucked up.
Aye.
And didn't react to it. And crumbled. But
So
when
you
in the
just
back of
paused.
the video, that I paused it, deleted it, and back out again.
Take a moment and just
Do you know
compose
what I mean?
yourself.
Aye.
I'm not sure about that.
Aye.
So what was the so you said the psychology? What?
So just football psychology. So just talk about like, so the Steve Salas one was kind of more about like personal development and how to reflect on yourself and improve and whatever. With Don, it was more about how to get the best out of people and just talking about all sorts of different things, like the different type of person you get, how you would kind of deal with different personalities, just loads of things. It's good, but stuff like that's, I think,
I
really
was going to
interesting.
actually ask you today. Do you think, bro, this is probably meant for you, do you think it's harder now to be a professional player with social media and everybody sees everything now on the pitch?
I don't think it's harder to be an actual player. I think it's harder to deal with all the stuff that comes with it, probably. So, like say the younger guys, I say the younger guys go to a Rangers or Celtic. all of a sudden they've got all this scrutiny. They've got social media, they've got papers. Like, you look at King the other night there. I woke up the next day, read the paper, and there's the pundits are going for him because of the 2 goals. He's 18-year-old playing against
the best teams
in the Champions League. Like, surely that's gonna. He could either crumble or say, "I'll show you. I'll go and go to the next level."
It must be so hard, mate. Social media now.
How many messages do you think he's getting in his inbox and
I know
Instagram? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I think it must be. When I kind of stopped playing, it was there, but it wasn't the way it is now. See, I think as a player though, that must affect you surely. See on Twitter and all that, and if like the boy King or any player for that.
Mate, being a pundit. When people go after you. Stories about your team.
I'm the one that's saying it
for me.
I'm the one getting all these boys in
Nah, it must be very hard. I don't know how. I can only assume that I think it's getting to the point where, especially bigger players, it's as if people manage their Twitter and stuff like that. Like you see it with like Gary Neville talking about it with the Man United players. I think that Ronaldo and all that were tweeting. It was like he's not actually tweeting that. It's like his media manager. So they'll probably read it, but I definitely think at a lower level when people like Ronaldo have got a team behind them. But you like your Leon King, he's went for playing the B team to all of a sudden he's in the Champions League, got all this scrutiny. I agree with you. Totally unfair. So unfair because he's in the league. He's looked really good. But he's coming up against fucking Firmino, Mo Salah, Napoli, Ajax. It's going to be difficult.
And Rangers only playing well themselves.
Exactly. So he's playing next to Sands, who's 21 as well.
Who's probably no centre-back.
I totally agree with you.
See, even when Brothers went to Rangers and that, see, obviously the social media wasn't that big then. Would you sort of wait on the Monday when the papers came out? Would that affect you if you get criticised in the papers or
that? Wouldn't it affect me? I knew it was coming, to be honest. I was just one of the players that I would get it no matter what. Like, I think it was always the young Scottish coming up at Rangers or Celtic that did get it. It seemed to be them that did. But I think that's the biggest thing at Rangers or Celtic. If you're not mentally strong enough to deal with it, it can crumble you. And there's no getting away from it. And I think you're right with what you say. It's more intense now with social media and that. But I don't really have social media, but I've got a private one at Halliday, but I go on it sometimes and you can still get private messages through. Like, some of them are amazing though. Like, I get one the other day there, I hope your neck shakes like a hedgehog. I almost replied back to him with laughing faces to say, mate, that's brilliant, I'm using that.
What did he say it for?
I think it was like something to do with football, something I did or something I said, I don't know. And it was just a random. I was a Rangers fan. I wasn't even a Celtic fan. I hope your neck shakes like a hedgehog.
But you said Rangers fan got a bit. You and Morelos used to get each other a bit.
It's probably it was something to do with that back then. But I didn't go on it, and I went on it, and it was there. It was probably 130 weeks ago.
I worry about it, mate. I worry about it for you. I mean, I was listening to Van Dijk with Gary Neville, and he said,
"I've sort of watched that."
Aye, brilliant.
I've seen these clips.
Amazing. Should watch it. But I was watching that, and he was saying he actually struggled with it, and he goes and speaks to a psychologist about it at times, and that's a guy like him. I worry about younger players with it. I really do, and they're mad for social media. I think younger players, aren't they?
That's the first thing they check.
That is,
when they get into the dressing room.
It is strange because how do you? It's just the way of life now. So how do you kind of avoid it? Even like you're saying yourself, you'd be on it. You'd almost feel you're expecting it. Younger Scottish players. Totally agree that was the case. It's probably still is. But see, even like yourself. So maybe you would get criticised and people would maybe question, is he good enough to play with Rangers? But see those same people, ask them what they think of Walter Smith as a manager. Walter Smith used to play this guy in European games all firm, so how can they say, I don't think he's good enough? I think Walter Smith's Rangers best as a manager. Well, he's the one playing him, so surely you trust his judgment. Do you know what I mean?
That's a brilliant analogy in that there.
Trips.
Aye, but you're right. Where do you go with it though? With younger players coming through?
Well, that's what I think you're saying with the Van Dijk thing. There does seem to be a lot, because there's more scrutiny on people more aware of it. I think there is a lot more help with it as well. I mean, even on we had into B before into our A licence as well. They touched on social media and that and how you can help kind of players and whatever else with that sort of aspect of things. It's subjective, I suppose. What works for some people doesn't work for others, but I think there is sort of experts out there who will be able to give you advice.
Brothers, would you ever, through your career, go and speak to a psychologist or anything?
No. I never did it, no, but when I was coming through the youths at Hibs, there was one there.
Was there at that time, was there?
That was Donald Parkett brought that in. That was at that stage, and what was that? God, almost 17 years ago. So he was bringing that level in at then, Donald Park. But he was more, I think then, it wasn't more to deal with criticism and things, it was more to deal with how do you prepare, how do you set your mind the night before, do you go a wee walk and visualise how the game's going to go, and then what's your set day, do you know you're getting up at this time so you can eat and it's giving your body time to digest it. It was more like that, so that kind of stuck with me, like prepare properly. I used to go drives the Friday night and try and visualise what I'm going to do the next day.
Wow.
I can definitely see why people would do it, like if you're operating at a top level, because it must be hard, and I can see why there's that argument you'd want to speak to somebody closest to you about it, but you don't want them to know because you want to be the sort of strong figure in front of them, so you maybe wouldn't want to go to the missus or anything like that.
Still the stigma of a man though, speaking out, is it? It's still, we're trying to get away from that, but there still is that.
I think, I remember when Celtic, Lennon was a psychologist coming, I don't know if it was him that done it or it was somebody brought him into the club, I wasn't sure if he was overly happy with it, but I remember thinking, I'm desperately going to see him, but didn't do it, just in case the boys clocked us.
That's
what I mean?
Well, I even, obviously with Andy, the career that he had, there would, same as yourself, he'd come under criticism at times, and I'd be thinking, how the fuck is he?
He's brilliant, mate, Andy, though, isn't he?
Mate, what a fun. Well, to us, it certainly looks that way. That he's.
You shouldn't need to be.
I'm saying it looks that he does deal with it very well. Just shrug his shoulders. But where I'm saying about, you would probably having the sort of external help with sports psychologists, and that probably better is, see as much as you try and avoid it. So you're saying you know got social media. I guarantee you people still send you things. So even if you don't
your
look,
mate's not saying shit,
so that's
what you do.
I know my brother would get that. Like I feel like my mum or like could be my brother, could be pals, whatever. I know they'd still be sending them things. So that's probably why you can't go to. He couldn't go to like a parent or me or that, because we're the ones fucking sending them the shit. So it's like, why you're the ones feeling adding fuel to the fire.
I don't know, because we've been doing this for a couple of years now. When we first started, we started getting a wee bit. I was like, what's going on here? Because you're just coming on and having a laugh or whatever. And then now, honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. But see, when I done the Scottish Cup draw last week.
So, even when you say it, you say
I done the Scottish
Cup
Cup draw last season, right?
Is that Peterhead, wasn't it?
Aye. And I swear to God, mate, we've came back in the motor. So me, Andy, Kev and Paul were driving back. So Paul's like, yes, Slaney, you're trending on Twitter. So the boys, that's brilliant.
That's never good.
But trending as in getting absolutely slaughtered. So who's letting this guy own this and all that? Mate, I could not believe it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Never mind. Mate, that was all the family buzz and all that, and I've done that.
Did it hurt you?
Be genuinely honest, was that like hard to read? Must have been.
No, do you know what? I just
shocked.
Couldn't believe it, mate.
Because why? Like, but it's one of those. Like, is MD ever going to go on and write? Oh, that it was good to see Slaney doing that draw there. Oh, but that was a good laugh. Slaney. They're only going to go out and vent negativity for some reason.
But he'll not look at that. He'll always look at the bad ones.
I know.
And that's unfortunately what you do, because you could have a million good comments. See that bad one, you stick to it.
It's weird that, innit? There's always a bad comment that gets you, innit?
I know.
I genuinely don't care about criticism. I really don't. It was just that one night, I think, because we're driving 5-hour journey home. You can't move and you're stuck here. Anyway, lads, nothing's possible without Who Knows Wins. Download the Who Knows Win app to play and join the Scottish Pick 10 League for your chance to win big cash and monthly prize of a signed Open Goal Broomhill FC top. Home and away, Robbie, what one do you like best?
I'm a big fan of home, mate. I like the home.
That's got to be home.
I know what you like that.
It's definitely a Celtic tap there, wee man.
100%.
They get a wee bit of red on that.
All the socks.
Brothers, last couple of games beat on the Saturday and then the draw midweek. But we played well, mate, didn't we?
We did, aye.
And I always thought, Robbie, right, I always thought that if you play well in that and you don't get the result, you come away and you're still feeling all right. I feel it's worse.
Oh, mind you, to give me that after we give you that still in uni. Mate, it's so easy to say that when it's somebody else.
I think if you play bad, right, and you have a nightmare, like you're annoyed at boys or whatever, and you're annoyed at how the team played, whatever, and you're like, okay, but that's not us. But when you've played well and you've had the chances there to win, I think that's, you go home and it keeps eating away at you. I don't know.
But like, I've always been, don't get too high, don't get too low. But I can see where you're coming from. Like, especially Saturday, like the game could have been out of sight at half time if it had been disrespectful. It could have been with the chances. But credit to them, they stuck at it. They played a low block, and but I can't can't complain about it because I've done it over my career where I've went out there, played a low block and tried to frustrate the life out of teams. And they did.
You take that as a compliment though, don't you? If teams are coming there to sit in and it's a stay, I play the back. But just with even on again midweek, I thought we played well again. Second half, Si comes in obviously at half time, says to the boys we need more shots, crosses, especially crosses. That was it because they were really tight in the middle. We want to get the ball wide, get it in. We scored 2 goals for that. Yep. So it's brilliant the boys have reacted to it, and then obviously a mistake happens.
I think what you're saying about your sort of emotions or reactions after you've played well, no one. Immediately after that, I think you're more frustrated, but see as time goes on, you start to realise we would much rather it being that way than us going out and after the game you're thinking, this is miles off of what I'm expecting to see. So you'll probably gain a wee bit of perspective in the next couple of days. It just after a game, mate, no matter what happens, see if you don't win, it's raw, and see if you don't feel that, there's something up, because you want to win every game, no matter what. So I don't see that as being wrong or anything like that. As much as like, obviously, because when you said to me, you're like for the example, the news kind of Celtic the Champions League and like Postecoglou's and press conferences saying, listen, we're playing well, whatever. There's no way he's still not absolutely gutted that they've lost the game. Do you know what I mean? But he's probably tried to just gain perspective a wee bit quicker than we're able to do the now. But it's, mate, in this league, it's gone, like you're seeing it with the league table, it's crazy how close it is. I mean, there's 2 points between second and fifth, or second and sixth, I think it is. So see how the way I was trying to look at it is, you're obviously disappointed, but see every other team in about you, they've had the exact same, where they're thinking, we had to win that game and we've dropped points.
I don't think that's a good thing we say, and even I think the players know that as well. I think we're in start November. Do you know what I mean? So I think everybody will always have a wee look at the league table and stuff, which is what you do, but you can't win it in the new.
No.
You know what I mean? And
obviously it's Celtic on Saturday, which is a difficult game again. I don't know, do you know much about any of their boys?
Well, I just take myself back to when I was playing sort of reserve for Celtic, and I always found if we played another youth team compared to playing a senior team, you were always much more. I think you were more up for it to play a senior team, play men. It feels a proper game. So these boys will be really good. They'll be proper fit. We've seen that with Hearts when they came. They were super fit, obviously full time. But they'll be up for it, I know, because I think when you're at that, it's a chance you want to show that I'm ready to play men's football. You know what I mean?
But technically good as well, because you're not Rangers or Celtic if you're not. And they'll have a set way of playing, and they'll probably, you would like to think they'll mirror the first team, because then they know when they step up
they fit in right to the way they play.
To be fair, that should be a very good game to watch. I think that'll be a really good game, because it'll be 2 teams that, again, I totally agree with what you're saying. There's no criticism toward how teams approach a game of football. Everybody's different ways in how they try and win, but I think that it'll probably be 2 teams with similar style, time in a game and dominate possession, stuff like that.
I like the idea that the Hearts, Celtic and Rangers are in the lone league. I really like it. I think when they took away the reserve league, it was a shambles. Honestly, we went to when we had first team players playing under 19 football. You know what I mean? And,
I know.
And no matter what people say, you can't when you've played or whatever. It's so hard to get motivated for that, and you're playing maybe in a wee training ground, and there's like boys at 14 with spots and all that. Boys at 30 with spots and all.
Wee willies.
But do you know what I mean though? I think when they took that reserve league, so I actually think, and that surely the end goal is we produce more players.
Well, see, just to play, so because I've always been kind of deliberating whether or not it was good or not. So just to play like sort of devil's advocate on it, I think there's like that's what you should be doing, mate. You're a host. So just but see, I can totally see benefits, especially because of the reserve league thing. But there I was, what was that, the Rangers Ajax game, and obviously you're touching on Leon King, and then on top of that second half, Lowry comes on, and I'm like, but his last 3 games, mate, have been against Gallagher-Feradine. Who is it? Gallagher-Feradine. Say it was Gallagher-Feradine, Bowness, and Edinburgh Uni, and then his game after that is to play Ajax in Champions League. So my argument would be, see Rangers and Celtic B playing the lone league, is that preparing them to play Champions League football or play top end of Scottish football?
Where would they get that other exposure?
So I totally agree then, it's trying to find that balance. So I know a year ago, Rangers had what I think was probably a better scheme where they were getting, I suppose it's the non-competitive element, but they were getting regular games with different teams round about Europe. So they'd play Bayern Munich in a friendly. They would play Liverpool. They would go down and play Blackburn. The youth team would They would go and play teams throughout Europe. So it's obviously probably, I could be wrong here, but it's probably a step up in comparison to other Scottish youth teams. And likewise, it's probably a step up compared to Lowland League teams, you would imagine.
I think so. I mean, honestly, I just remember when I played youth football and we played, it was totally different, mate. It was weird. I don't know what it was, and maybe that's why there's not a lot of players that do make it. Some even the players that some like in youth football that they look brilliant, but when they come in and play
against a full-grown man,
it's
still playing against boys v boys, isn't it?
No, I know.
You could have boys who have matured more, or better athletes at what we talk about, but when they step up and they're playing against a 28-year-old who's fully grown, they're getting that physical side.
Totally agree.
But I get what you're saying, they're maybe not getting the technical and the exposure they'll get going for the Lowland League to the first team. But
it's hard to get it anyway.
They're playing against a guy who needs to win to get that bonus to pay his mortgage.
I was just watching it, I think, how do you bridge that gap between where he currently, so Lowry, because I think when he's come through, mate, he's a top talent.
That's great,
and I'm like, he played 45 minutes against Gallifreydin at the weekend, and now he's playing Ajax. And so he'd played 3 Lowland League games and then straight into Champions League, last 20 minutes, and he kind of gives the ball away for the third goal.
I know he does,
and people around about are criticising him. I'm like, but that must be so he's not,
just back for injury.
And he's just back for injury as well, but I'm like, he's given the ball away 30 yards for the goal, and after 2 passes it's a goal. How do you bridge that? It's probably can't.
No, you probably can't. It's Celtic when you get into the Champions League. But I think in the league, I think going and playing in the Lowland League or you go on loan, I think it helps you much more than playing.
You grow up a wee bit, don't you? I think because you're in a comfort zone. Oh, we're going out to play, I don't know, Hearts in the youth. We win or lose, it's not really, it doesn't matter, it's all about the performance, isn't it? And then I'm back to the nice training facilities. But if you're going, I don't know, say he goes to Partick Thistle on loan and he's jumped in a minibus going to an Astro pitch and seeing the other side. Because I found even when I was at Rangers, the youth, they had it nice. Do you know what I mean? They've got the nice changing room, the nice pitches, the nice food. And then when they go to the other teams in Scotland who honey go to that, it's like, wow, what's happening here?
So see, for your point of view, when you were coming through, was it Hibs? Hibs you came through. So did you find that jump between youth to first team just totally massive?
No. Randomly, like I went for Hibs 1 year playing youth and reserve at 16, and then went to St Mirren the year after. And went straight into the first team. I found that it was more physical. I didn't find it was the jump up in level is what you're saying. So like probably playing reserve football was the same level as playing championship football, but the physical side, like I was coming up against a 35-year-old man who would throw me a boot for a bit, and it toughened me up, it did. And I realised then I need to battle the gym.
So maybe it's it. So did you think the reserves, do you think that would be beneficial in having a reserve league instead? Not instead of the Lowland, but you think having a reserve league is definitely better than the alternative?
100% the reserve league rather than when they changed it to that. I mean, under 19s.
Aye.
I couldn't work that out.
Well, mate, I've seen, we've got an example, I'll know out on this, but we've got an example of a boy in our 20s who was promised, offered, or maybe unofficially offered a contract with a club. He was in his last year of 18s, but then first team manager wasn't said would want to sign him, but he's currently not ready to be part of my squad. So then they had nobody to play. He's too old for 18s. He wants the club want to sign him, but he's not going to be in the first team. So he's like, well, what am I going to do? So I think the option would potentially be to train with the 18s, then go in with the first team, train once during the day, but then he'd have no game at the weekend. So he's too old for 18s. So that's crazy, isn't it? Like
his development.
So many players are getting lost because if you're not ready for a first team at 18, you can't get signed. Whereas a lot of players, I know it's a pure different example, like Harry Kane didn't really break in at first. He was out on loan, no playing at like 19, 20. So who's to say that couldn't happen to maybe not that level, but
no, but you're right.
It's crazy. There is definitely a gap there.
I mean, I remember it. It was an achievement to get into the reserve team when I was coming through at Motherwell. It was like that to go and when you called up for the reserves, it was brilliant. You had first team players in there. And I think that was, we talked about the bridging that gap, that helped you, I think, going for youth football, then getting a wee taste of reserves. But we took that away. So that's why I like the fact that these boys are having the chance to play in the lower league. I do. I really like it. See, brothers, playing up until now and playing in the Championship last season, is there a big difference for the Championship to the Lowland?
That's a good question. Probably in terms of physical and fitness-wise, I would say so.
Aye.
Yeah. Technically, looking at our team, I don't think there's much technically, because I don't think there's a team in the Championship plays the way we play. Which I'm not saying is right or wrong. I just think we play an open, expansive way, and we don't change no matter who we play. I don't think there's many teams that do that apart from maybe Celtic. I don't even see Rangers doing that really. No. So we play a certain way, and that's the way the gaffer wants to play, which is fine, and it's good and it's enjoyable. But in terms of like the Championship last year to this year, I don't think there's much in terms of technically or. I just think more physical and fitter. I think because most of the teams are full time, and prepare longer and have more time to do that. Whereas boys are working.
I always thought it when I went down to the air. I was looking at the boys and I'm like, there's some players here. I wonder how they've just played up.
I know, it is crazy. See, any experience I've had when people drop down from sort of senior level to junior level, you do get players that you can notice they've got maybe a wee bit more ability, slightly more, but I totally agree with you. It's just that it's a wee bit of sharpness more than anything else, and I think a massive part of it's mentally. See players who it's probably things like decision making. How many guys you see in training that look brilliant, but then when it comes to a game, they'll maybe they don't get in the game as much, and they say, oh, boy, like they're not getting my ball, they're not getting the ball to me, etc. But then you bring some other guy who's got the same ability, and all of a sudden they're getting the ball all the time, they're in the game all the time. So I think, for me, it's the mental side of it that I think kind of sets the better players apart. Because you've seen so many boys who you're like, he's unbelievable technically, put him on a pitch and you don't even know he's playing.
Aye, it's weird that.
That was like you, wasn't it?
That was me all the time. I wasn't technically either. By the way, big shout out to the new signing, Rennie. Brilliant when he came on the other night, brothers, wasn't he?
Second touch goal.
Amazing.
Love that.
And I loved his enthusiasm. That wee man fucking in behind and then into feet.
Aye.
Do I give too much away about the big man, but I like
well, to be fair, I know Get works with Montrose, and so I gave him a wee message saying, "Oh, we get this boy coming in." Which I thought, and he said, I think he's that's his second spell with Montrose. Is that right? That is. So, I think his first spell with him, I think he done really well. So the feedback he gave me anyway.
I think he played against us this year.
Aye, with Derek.
Oh, did he?
Aye. He was at the loan.
There you go.
Aye.
You've done me. Is that smart?
You've done your research, no?
I know.
He missed a good chance against us, but he said in the dressing room the other night that he meant it.
Fair play.
Oh, boys are ready to go as always. Probably, how's your 20s gone, mate?
I made 7-0 last week.
Hutcheville.
Which strange how football works, because that was a game where it's a cup game for us, and it was at 20s level, it's conferences, so it's no particular like Premier Division, First Division, Second Division, like it's conferences, so it's all regionalised and stuff. So they're flying in their conference, they've won like every game.
Is that not where all the normally the
Hearts and Hibs? Hutcheville's a massive club.
That's where Tomo and that all come through.
Yep. Loads of guys have came through there. So I flying in our league, won every game, and then we just went out and obviously
battered them.
Well. Battered them. I don't.
Mason was saying to us on Saturday. Mason was saying that they actually played quite well, wasn't he? Like they had a shocker or
no, wasn't that? And see, to be honest, you hate saying things like this in case you end up with egg in your face. You're going to shit run after it, but we have been saying like the sort of way we've been playing. I think a team is going to take a doing off us at some point, and you just hope after that you can kind of kick on for it. And I think the big thing for that is we scored after like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes, and then I think we scored in like the 10th minute. So we were 2-0 after 10 minutes, and it's hard for a team to react for that. And naturally, I think with younger boys, their tails are up, and you obviously start to take a wee bit of confidence for it. And it was just a proper, complete performance, which obviously really pleasing.
Josh scored 4.
He scored 4, mate.
How's he been doing?
Brilliant, mate. I was pleased for him because the last sort of 3 games have been a bit of a different challenge in terms of there was spells in games where he's feeding off scraps a wee bit, which sometimes happens if you've got one up front. there's 2 games in particular he was playing against a centre-half mate who I thought were really good, and they were proper aggressive, like getting really tight to him. So that was a kind of different challenge for him, and I said to him, see how hard they worked, the way he was holding the ball up, he was winning foul, stuff like that. Seeing his first 3-4 week with us, I don't think he would have done that anywhere near as well as what he did just now. So it shows it for his development. So it's good that he had those sort of 2-3 games where he was doing that, whereas on Friday there, I think boys were creating chances for him, and obviously he was able to get.
That must be good for you though. You can see that he's developing, so it means you're doing something right.
Definitely. I mean, it's down to him, I suppose, but literally every single one of them have been a better player since he came in. I can generally, and Andy's been saying the same. I think, see, to be honest, they would probably tell you that. Yeah. I can honestly go through every player and say that they've improved since coming in, which is all you can ask, really.
That's it.
How did Mason do? He obviously trained with, he's on the bench.
Really well.
Mate, he's a machine, isn't he?
So aggressive.
So
fit.
So
even he was wearing an Under Armour and just walked about the dressing room in Under Armour.
Just barging in it.
Mate, he even got a bit on Twitter for somebody. See that?
Way.
So it wasn't directly at him, but somebody tweeted like, I was just at the gym there and seen a guy in a full Open Goal Broomhill training gear. I've never cringed so much in my life.
Oh, the boys put that in the chat.
And he replied like, was this JD, Jim and Paul, mate? I was like, what are you calling fucking mate for? Because like, and then he was like, so a couple of the boys were laughing about it, and he's like, mate, I was at the gym before training. Like,
she learnt it, maybe.
Fuck.
At least he's got at the gym.
I know.
Exactly, mate. I mean, obviously, he's got training after it. I don't know if he thought it was like a fan or something like that. People ask for pictures and that. I don't know, mate, but okay, just laughed it off.
Robbie, a question that I asked you the last time, the hardest thing about being a manager or being a coach, but I'm going to change it slightly. What's the hardest thing dealing with younger players?
You know what, mate?
Have I got you there? Have I caught
you have a wee bit right.
Great question. You wasn't ready for it.
No, I wasn't. No, I tell you what I thought. And why it's difficult is, see what I was anticipating being very hard, it's actually not really been with this group. See, before I took, so obviously I'd left working at academy to do this, and just spoke to a few guys who took teams in this sort of development setup, and a lot of them had said, listen mate, just be careful what you're doing, because see, with that age, hard to get them to commit. They'll not turn up to training, they'll be drinking full patch games on Friday and all that. So that was something I was wary of, but mate, we've not had that at all. And I'd like to think, one, it's because they're committed to their football, but see, just the environment of the club, like we just wouldn't put up with that. Yeah. See if you're not what I commit to, don't waste your time, don't waste your own time. In terms of the hardest thing, it's a tough one, mate. I think we spoke about it. I think a couple of weeks ago, see that trying to weigh up the sort of natural desire to win, and then always try to go back to development. That's probably the hardest, if there's anything, because there's no really been anything else that sticks out. Because sometimes you kind of need to check yourself and realise, like you said, because you're totally right what you said a couple of weeks ago, we did play really well. We lost the game 2-1, and I wasn't happy. But then I had to kind of check myself and thought, boys, that's going to happen. Like it's going to happen. Well, we don't get the result we want, but you need to try and think. I just think you need to react very quickly in terms of remembering it's your responsibility and make them better. So don't just get annoyed at the fact you didn't win. Like you need to think about it very quickly. Why did we not win? And then feed back that info. Because see, these days, mate. Well, I'm saying these days. I wasn't obviously a fucking coach 15 years ago or whatever. But see now, I don't know what it was like when you come through. But boys pure want to know why they didn't play well.
I think it makes you a better player, by the way, watching stuff back.
100%.
Doesn't it?
But they always want, see, even like training stuff like that. Like I know, like, I wasn't like this, but see, even when you're doing sessions, they want to know why you're doing it. They don't just come up and train. They want to know everything. Like, if I'm not, like, how can I get better at this? Why are we doing this? Why do we play like this? Which is brilliant.
But
it challenges you all the time. So
too much.
That as well. That probably is a challenge as well, because they always want to know why. So, but it challenges you as a coach, mate. It makes you so much better. Like I know I've become better just by things like that.
See, is this the first time you've watched the video analysis stuff in games? Or did you do it with Thistle? Like watching back games?
Maybe I had to do it with Thistle every week, man.
I think, mate, since I've started doing it, it's made me see the game different and see it much more. Or it's the first. This is what I'll tell you. First few games of the season, I never. But I didn't really think it. I didn't even really think. I was like, I watched. I seen the game. I was there. I'll speak to whatever. And then watching it back, you're like, fucking hell, that game wasn't the way I thought it was, or he's done this really good, or he could do this more, or he could maybe be anyway on the half turn more. And do you know what I mean? There's lots of wee things you see that you can help a player with, and players need to. I think the players must watch the games back.
Oh mate, you're totally right. Like, because when you're watching a game, like, you're obviously battling with your own emotions, so you see it totally different watching it, but you can take the emotion out of it, and you actually think, if I was getting him a bit and he's actually playing really well, things like that, or vice versa, you think he maybe done one thing that stuck out in my head, but now when I watch it back, he actually done after he done that. So sometimes I think, see if somebody starts well, you maybe think he's playing well, don't need to look at him, but then you watch it back and think, I've no noticed that he wasn't doing X, Y and Z. Like,
I think it's the best way of learning.
Aye.
I need to watch it twice, because the first time I watch it, I only watch me to see how I'm learning.
Aye.
And then I need to watch it to watch
Back
the team.
to
I've always found that I get drawn to myself, because you want to criticise yourself first to see what you can do better, and then you need to watch it the team. But when I'm not playing, it's easier to watch because you watch us at the whole.
Did a lot of your managers do that, brothers? Watch video analysis with you?
Started probably when I went to Rangers.
Was it? Was Walter big on that?
I don't know if Walter was big on it. I think he just adapted as the times went on. And because he used to say to us, with the sports scientist then as well, he'd be like, if you don't put the runs in, it was 4-minute runs and that, and like run a track the training ground to get your heart rate up and that. And he was like, because there was boys jogging and that, and he was looking at the heart rates, and he pulled us in, and he's like, if you don't get your heart rate up and get in the zone, I'll just go back to what we yesterday. I'll run you to you're sick. Do you know what I mean? So boys are running at their watches, getting their heart rate up because it's only 4 minutes.
Eating curries before they go around just so they're sick.
We've got that already.
Fucking eye on the bus.
What
about who was the biggest on it? Steve. I imagine Steve Clark must have been big on that.
Video analysis. He was brilliant at it. He's probably the best I've worked with video analysis.
Was he?
Aye.
So see, would that be like on a Monday after a game or Friday, or would it be through the whole week?
No. Well, to be fair, we never watched much back unless he was really unhappy, and then he would show us. It was all more, as soon as Steve Clark was more like, right, the result's done, we grinded a 1-0 or something, right, that's done, bam, move on, next team, video analysis for the next team.
Was it?
And then that's it. Monday you're straight into shape, straight away. Everyone's run your shape, how we play the team on the Saturday.
See mad for shape, aye.
Aye.
I really mind the ball.
Everything was possession related to how we play.
Nah, it seems like he's one that, like, I want to try and get more club visits now, and he's definitely a guy I'd like to.
But training was enjoyable. It wasn't like shape.
You're also done a bit boring.
It's hard to explain. Like, it was amazing, the training. I loved it. Because in my position, I know what I was doing. I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. And he would stop it and say, no, this is how they'll play. This is how we'll stop them. And then if we win the ball, and this is how we'll kill them. It was brilliant. The whole week was towards that.
It's very, my whole, and this isn't nothing against the manager, but when I trained, however I trained, but I never trained, whatever we done, I never thought, I get, that's why we're doing it. I just trained, this is brilliant, this possession's good, the games are good. Faddy made the point. You don't, and Si's probably the first I've seen that he'll do things in training, I'm like, that's what we're trying to do, and I can see that picture, whereas with other managers, and it's no criticism of them, but it was just like, fucking possession's brilliant. You know what I mean? The transfer game, all cheering, and it was enjoyable.
I just ran about trying to get your 10 passes.
You
know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying, like, is the difference with, so what you said there, that's how I would always play football. But see now, like, mate, I've had boys, which I've had to dig them up for a wee bit, mate, during games, they'll come up to me and go like that, Robbie, I'm playing a diamond, like, what do you want me to do? Like, how do you want me, like, do you still want me to do this rotation? Because we prepared for that.
They're looking at the game in that way.
So they think about everything. So they're challenging. See, on the spot, I need to give them an answer. So sometimes I'm just like, it's fucking 20 minutes into the game, just still speak to off time. But I still think that's brilliant how they think about stuff like that, because I would never, ever have done that.
Was like growing up.
No.
But
nobody.
They're not doing it. I genuinely don't believe they're doing it because they're like, I want you to tell me what to do. They're like, I want to make sure that I'm doing the same thing as you want because that's what the team's going to do, do you know what I mean? So that's probably, again, kind of goes to what I was talking about.
Would Steve Clark brothers bring you in the individual clips for you?
He probably would, aye. He never done it with me, to be fair. But we used to do video analysis maybe a Monday, because we were always off a Tuesday, then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the game.
Right.
But we done video analysis an hour before the game, an hour and a half before the game. So we did So It Was In Your Head.
All right.
So he
It's
would.
interesting, isn't it?
So the video analysis we would watch earlier in the week of the team, and the video analysis before the game is how we would play.
Right. Oh, so it wasn't like going back over it again. It was something totally new.
Aye. So it wasn't even like the actual game. It was just like wee mannequins. So when they have the ball there, this is how I want you to move as a team. And then if the ball moves, you move there. And then if we win it, this is I want you to break, and you back up there. So everybody knew what they were doing. So if there was a game, the fullback, I don't want you going run them the day.
Yeah.
You just back him up the day. So the mannequin would move in the video like that.
Right.
And then he would have his principles like written down, how we want you to play. So I want it as a medium-low block the day, one principle. If we can get a nibble, we go as a team, things like that, just principles like that.
A lot of clarity then.
Aye.
See, during the game, did you ever go, fucking hell, what he says spot on?
Oh,
what he said they were going to be like, that's exactly what's happening here.
Especially the Old Firm games, because he would say, like, this is what they'll do. They'll go down one way, you'll block it off, they'll go back, and then they'll eventually just keep it.
And that's the way it was, wasn't it, against?
How much time must he have spent to prepare things like that every week?
Aye, I know.
Every week he comes up, because you're saying that he would have a different plan every week depending on who you're playing. How the fuck has he thought of that every single week?
Mad that, innit?
Every week, it was brilliant.
That's why he's
honestly.
That's top job in the country, innit?
Unbelievable, right?
Oh, he's worked with Liverpool,
Chelsea.
Chelsea, Newcastle.
I wonder if he got a lot from
Mourinho.
because he was big into all that, wasn't he?
Aye.
No, I think more or less everyone will be off Mourinho now. Because he told us that when he was at Chelsea, he'd go out and set everything up, and Mourinho would come down, just look at it, look at his boot, just move the cone millimetre.
What's that?
Aye, right, so at Rugby Park, we'd come out and Alex Dyers get everything set up, and Steve Clark we're doing the warm up, and Steve Clark would come out 5 minutes later, he'd always come out and he'd go,
Get a wee going.
move that cone a wee minute. We're just letting Alex Dyers like that.
Do you, Slaney?
Don't be you sorry to me ever again.
What's your, obviously you're saying you've done your A, what's your aspirations? Are you want to get into management?
I don't know, actually. I know Slaney and Size asked me this, but I done my B and A when I was in England because I got my back up.
Right.
And I wasn't sure if I would be able to play again.
Right.
So I thought, well, I'm only 31, 32 here, what am I going to do? So I done them thinking, right, I've got something to follow on, because Rotherham were good with me, they were going to give me the reserve job.
Oh,
so
right.
get the badges done, and then I just thought, no, it's no time to quit yet. I need to train my nuts off, and I got back fit and get able to play again. And then I ended up coming home, and then I've not really. I did a wee bit at Kilmarnock, did a wee bit in Inverness last year, but being a manager, I'm not sure, because I don't know if I want to deal with politics above, because there is a lot at every level, even the top level. There's still you need to manage above, and whether I could be bothered with that, no bothered deal with it, I don't know.
It takes away what I remember what Lee McCulloch said, that he said that he really loved the coaching part when he was a coach, but when he went into management he didn't do any coaching because he was dealing with everything else. So that must be difficult.
Aye, that's why these days there's such a big sort of staff of like managers have got such a big staff, because you need to deal with so many things. Even like see media and stuff like that, like that must be very difficult. See after a defeat, needing to go.
I don't know. And then they get criticised if they maybe say something, but you're fuming
emotional.
Again,
I know.
Yeah. I suppose it's the best time for the people to be watching it, innit? You're desperate for them to say something stupid.
Paying for blood, aren't we?
But it's been absolutely magic, but I'm going to end it because I was up through the whole night. I don't really sleep that well, as you know, but I was up through the whole night watching Gary Neville doing the overlap, so I thought I'm going to mix it in a wee bit and copy exactly what he does and ask the questions. So here we go. Robbie, you can either...
You asking me?
The both of you here, right?
No, I've got to say
this is good. No. So you can either favourite manager where you've played, who your favourite manager you've played under, or your favourite manager you like to watch. No. So whatever, now ask for your career, right? Here we go.
Because if I say something, I know he's going on, right? So, okay.
Right, favourite manager?
Worked with or no?
Worked with. It's a hard one for you, isn't it?
Aye. In terms of as a person or training?
Person I'm going to go with.
Waltersmith.
You love that, great answer. You want me to say?
Aye. Either who you've worked under or who you like watching.
I would say like watching Pep, innit?
That's a bit. Have you seen that, ain't you?
Aye, that's why you shouldn't be asking me.
Right, here we go. Favourite centre back you've played with?
Oh.
It's a great question.
It's a
That's
good
one
one,
right
aye.
up for last night. It was about 4 in the morning I done that one. Madge came in for the night out. Bluetooth.
Favourite? And
Somebody I've really loved playing with and they just get each other completely.
oh wow. Okay. Stuart Finlay.
Wow.
Disappointed.
Who would
That's
you
what I
say?
did with your shoot or something.
Why
But
we?
I get moved.
You
So
were
I never
right
had
back, weren't you?
I was right
Aye,
back,
right
left back, centre back when I was
Do you feel
injured.
he's still in America?
No, he's back to Oxford.
Oh, is he? Aye.
I played with Big Stu at Celtic, mate. His attitude's fucking brilliant, man.
Aye.
His attitude's great. Good player.
I just think
Aye,
they
Liz is good.
complemented each another well because he was so quick. So I just went and been aggressive. He covered with his pace, and he learned. I just liked the fact that if you'd seen Stuart when he first came in, to what he is now, that he's taken his career right on, and I like
brilliant.
that.
Aye, fair play. Aye, like that.
What's your favourite defender?
No, I take that back. I can't.
Stu's out.
Stu's it.
I'm lucky Stu's out.
Play a back
three, 10 seconds.
Andy Mullen.
Ah, what a legend.
All right.
He's
There
the
you go.
best guy in
Aye,
football.
wait till we tell you about.
We should get him on. Would he come on?
Let's ask him.
We need to ask him. We'll get him on.
Aye, he'd be good there.
He'd be unbelievable.
If you play till he's 40, you know.
45?
What?
Aye.
45?
I
I'm still
played
playing.
against him. I was Motherwell reserves about 15 and 16 and Andy was playing against us. At right back for St Mirren, I'm sure it was at the time. But
He still joins in at Morton sometimes, isn't it?
What? Mate, see, talk about, like, see, when I first met Andy, he was assistant manager. The best guy you could ever meet, right? Somebody's like to me, he used to be an animal on the pitch. And I'm like, there's no way because how good a guy is. And then there you talk to people and all that, you're like, he was crazy, that guy. Right, Robbie, who's your favourite defensive pairing ever?
Favourite defensive player ever?
Wow.
But I'll do quick fire, Terry Carvalho.
Aye, good, I like that.
Him.
Brilliant. Brothers, favourite teammate in general? I'll ask that as you as well, teammate.
Want to know them?
No, it doesn't matter, mate.
Teammate? Wow.
Good
Ross
dibs,
Mullen, there you go.
He's brilliant. And I was at him at Clyde, by the way, what a player to sing the ball. Lovely boy and all. How's he still doing south?
He's at Rafe Rovers.
Oh, is he back up now? Is he? Need to get him one and all, he's there.
Came and lived with me for 6 weeks during lockdown.
Is he? He's not like his dad though, is he?
No, and
Nothing like him.
we just trained for 6 weeks.
Brilliant. Robbie?
I'll go, by Craig Feroz. He's on my licence now, so I'll see him.
Alright, because you're no licence.
Aye.
Fordy, mate.
You don't mind him? He played with Livy and that.
Oh, sure. Fordy's the best I've seen ever.
He's a joke, isn't he?
He's a joke.
He's very good.
Here we go. Favourite stadium you've played in? Take Ibrox and Parkhead, do it.
Old Trafford.
It's big, ain't Connie, just ask him.
Aye.
I'm saying fucking home. I'm saying home park.
Mariel Juniors. Best party, brothers. This is you and all. Best party after a game or after a result. You've all been out. Bucky and the way in the bus.
Bucky, aye, God, that was an eye opener. After winning the league at Ibrox, back for a free bar, and boys are all singing, so we've obviously got Griggsy. That song, he dives to the left, he dives to the right. Alan McGregor shags 10 birds on the right. So we're all singing that, and he's diving on the carpet. So his missus comes down and slaps him in the back of the head.
Oh, brilliant. Any parties you want to come? It doesn't need to be fit, we're just a good party.
Good party. It's a good one on Saturday. Good time you on Saturday.
Oh no.
He's lost it.
No.
Sorry, thank God for that. I'll get involved with this one as well. Childhood hero, mine was Larson.
Good player to be fair.
Obsessed with him.
He was alright,
Brilliant.
wasn't he?
Alan McCoist.
Barry Ferguson, mate. Your old teammate.
Scariest manager team talk at half time or after a game. Mine was Lennon it against Hibs at home, drew 2 each. Came in and went fucking ballistic. But I was hiding behind a pillar. I wasn't hiding behind a pillar, sorry, where my seat was in the first, it wasn't my seat.
Who was this again, sorry?
Hibs, so a Celtic v Hibs at
First day?
Parkhead. Aye, it's on the bench. So where I was sitting, where my seat was in the home dressing room, there was like a pillar coming down. So I was sitting right behind it. And I kept thinking when he was going mental that he's going to come for me because he thinks I'm hiding. It was absolutely ballistic. But listen, I'm all for it. Listen, if you do it in the right way and the right reasons, then go for it. Do you know what I mean? And that was mine.
Well, there's been a few.
Mate, team talk. We had one. I'll not say who it was. I was a teenager still playing, and basically, long story short, we started the season really well, and we were a team that wasn't expected to. We basically just all went to this team right year before they were really shit, so they were pure high odds to win the league and stuff because we knew the team was going to be good. Mate, see, like the manager committing all that, they all lumped money on us to win the league, right? So we started the season brilliant, price pure dropped, all buzzing that, and then we lost a couple of games in a row. And we played the third game, went to a pure shite team, mate. I said, we were all young boys, so it's even when it came to like a winter months and that, we were interested, right? It's your talk, I know it's totally different level, right? But you're talking about saying you got to, when you're going to like you look at them, if you want to watch them for the side, you're like, they're shite. But then see when you play against them, and it's like a shitty park, like winter month or whatever, you're like, this is fucking hard to play in. So then we end up getting beat 4-3, mate, and oh my God, man. The manager went fucking crazy after that. He's like, I'm going to end up getting a fucking sack because of you. I'm going to get a fucking sack because of you, friends. So it was in a wee, but the game was like, it's a away game and a wee turn in inertia. They ended up going after it. Mate, we never seen him at training on a Monday, so he was still out for the game. Honestly, mate, his brother played with us and be like, where's Slaney? And he's like, mate, I don't know, he's like, he's missing my phone, isn't that? Like, where is he? Oh, he's at training or whatever.
And the welcome and bringing.
Oh, mate, so that was me, like, teenager, like, still when I'm like, this is fucking... this is harder than I was expecting. Amazing, so that was my one.
I remember one where I cannot mention the guy's name because it was getting ruined after the game. He's like, holiday maker, right? Kept saying to everybody, and he's walked out and he walked back in, but he didn't say it to somebody like that. And see, you should be fucking shot.
But that was like, we had my boys club manager, man. He was fucking ruthless, mate. See, like what parents maybe think. We're being like, when I was a youth coach, maybe we've been harsh, or like guys I worked with harsh. Fuck me.
No.
This guy was ruthless. I'll not tell some of them, but I mind one that just always sticks my head, was so funny. We were playing Broomhill, mate, playing BSC Glasgow, and drew 4 each, right? So we were like really, really good. Like one of the best teams about, really. Well, probably the best team about. The only thing we hadn't won was the Scottish Cup. So basically the plan was we were all going to stay till we won the Scottish Cup, and then we'd all go to like pro youth teams and that. But ultimately never won it. And mate, we drew in the Scottish Cup against BSC Glasgow, mate, and he kept us out in the pitch for about an hour, mate, just slaughtering every player. And I mind he was going, he's like, he's like, if you want to play that, he's like, just fuck off back to Harmony Road, mate. He's at that one. And he's like, say, Paul Slaney, he's like, see if you want to play up football like that, you'd as well take him an arseball at fucking Tiddlywinks.
Oh,
fucking Tiddlywinks was that?
Genius.
Mate, must have been 13, 14.
That's fucking brilliant.
Like fucking Tiddlywinks.
Fergie was brilliant, I know. Fergie's team talks after the game when he get angry. I remember Bob said to I'll not mention the boy's name. Bob said to a player, "Where the fuck were you for that second goal or something?" So the boy just went to speak, and Fergie went like, "Shut your fat piece of fucking mouth."
I've seen Fergie lose it as well when he turned over at Blackpool.
Did he?
Bob booted the fucking big hamper for the kit. Man, he must have been killing it with a big metal steel thing. He's limping away and all of that.
That's the worst of it, you do something like that.
Actually, that's a great question, but I've got another bad one. We used to go abroad for like, tournaments. Mate, and we went to Holland twice, won the tournament both times, and went to Holland, won it, went to Spain, won it, went back to Holland, and we beat in the semis off a Italian team. But mate, they were like a Serie C team or something, so they were decent. Oh man, I wasn't happy after it. They'd go like caused the goal. Mate, got the boys in with like, boys started clapping. He's like, everyone, giddy around the applause for the
No way, killed him. Wow.
Did the boy clap?
No, even I got the boys were like, motivated, man. And then it goes that, fuck off, you're shouting back. He's like, you did. You caused it. He's like, if you want to know, you caused the goal.
Bro, did you got any? Have you had too many?
I've never really been scared, but obviously the only one was Walter when we get put out the Champions League qualifier. But it went for Tomo, and I was thinking, I don't want to be the end of that. So obviously get rid of Fergie after the fingers thing. So Tomo was the main man in the middle of the park, and he's like, you ain't your fucking Barry Ferguson, do you? Oh, you know, you're swaggering about there and you were shite. If I'm going to go, I'll fucking take you with me. Because he obviously was under a wee bit of pressure getting out to the Champions League and that. And
you see on the pitch, would you start to think, oh fuck, I'm going here and he's going.
Because I remember one game we played Hibs, and we were playing shite, and you needed to lift, and he's at the sideline like fucking lifted, and it wasn't happening. And Mixu Patalainen came out and started shouting or something.
Oh, I mind that.
And he just fucking went into their dugouts face to face with him to get the crowd going. Who are you talking to, Mixu? And all that.
I mind
the
that.
whole place lifted, man. 2-0 we won. Just knew what he was doing, huh?
Do you remember the game Liverpool against Arsenal? It was 0-0 and Arsenal were doing well, and Arteta tried to go for Klopp and then Liverpool ended up skidding him. Sorry, that was rubbish. Funniest teammate?
Lafferty.
I've asked you that. He's amazing.
He's just ruthless, man. Honestly, this guy. I heard one the other day there that he took commandment and one of the boys fucked to his gear, to his car keys, right? Drove it away, talking a mile to the closest runabout, went on the runabout, left it on the runabout, walked back.
Fuck's sake, man.
That's you see your morning.
He's ruthless, mate. He's ruthless, honestly.
Oh, that's terrible, man.
Robbie, what about you? Any funny boys or any funny stories?
Oh, fucking loads. That I would tell you names of people when just one that came to my head there, a boy I played with. It's daft as fuck, mate, big battle. And I mind he was saying to boys, he's like, I'm going to fucking start going for the sunbeds. Or he's like, mate, he's a pure daft boy from Nielsen, pure village. He's like, I'm going to start going for the sunbeds, you go fund that. And then he went a couple of times, he's like, see when you go for him? Well, I don't go for him, right? But he's saying a couple of boys like, fucking, I'm gone and it's only tanning my back. And they're like, what? Like, what are you doing? He's like, mate, I don't know. He's like, I'm going in for, he's like, first time I went in for 3 minutes, so I went in longer. He's like, it's still only doing my back. And somebody went like, he's like, you know, closing the lid or something? He's like, what? So he talking about, mate, so he was going in, just leaning on like that, wonder what honestly, mate, that daft is a brush, this boy, but a legend.
That's brilliant. Brothers, hardest opponent you've came up against in Scotland and Europe?
In Scotland.
Individually, like up against you. This will be the last one, lads. Thanks so much, you've been brilliant.
A few positions, so as a winger, Aidan McGeady, as a centre back, I would say Scott McDonald.
Yeah, beat modest there, because I remember I got a right good performances against McGeady for you.
But it was good, so it was...
Parkhead, 4-2 game.
See before, so see end games like that, Brothers, when you know you're going into play, McGeady, would you think, right, I'm going to try and nail him early on to try to put a marker in, or is that...
I did it once and get booked. And,
that's the worst play you've
and the gaffer took me off at half time.
Never again.
Because he knew it would skip by me at one point and I'd have to bring him down.
Scott McDonald, I'm surprised. He was strong, wasn't he?
He was clever. He was really clever. He used his body really well. So he done me at Parkhead as well for a penalty, where he just stopped and backed in me and I was like nowhere to go and he just fell over it.
What about in Europe?
In Europe,
who were you against the Man U game?
Was it Rooney in that?
Valencia, so it was, but he got smashed and went half injured. Nah, I didn't mean that. He broke his leg, didn't he?
Aye, that's right.
No, that was an accident. So it was Europe, probably.
I think in group night. It was Man U, Valencia and Stuttgart. Maybe.
Probably Rooney or Berbatov.
Big shouts, man. You're asking me who I've played against, fuck's sake. He's talking about Rooney and Berbatov.
One of the sunbeds.
Superb.
Berbatov, he was a joke, wasn't he?
Ridiculous. Two very different players, I know what you just mentioned. But the Old Trafford game should have been a penalty on you, if I remember right.
That's right.
And 0-0, mate.
Knowledge.
It was different with Rangers this boy, didn't he? What about, how should it have been a pen?
Mate,
I nipped in front of Smalling and he clipped my heel.
It was by the
Stonewall. But if there was VAR, would have got it.
Fuck.
See, actually, you saying that about you sort of driving, this is pure sad. But I mind, because you signed on a pre-contract, didn't you, for Rangers? Mate, I remember being at a game, Love Street, when you played, before you were coming, and like totally different player to probably what people would perceive you. I mind you going in like mad mazy runs and all that. And I said to my dad, like he was like, actually, because I was still young at the time, he's like, actually, we're signing. I was like, if he's fucking gone in mad, it was like, see the way Bugera ended up being at Rangers. That's what you were like at Suburban, I remember.
I used to do at Suburban. I used to get the ball, and Andy would encourage me to go and play because I could. But obviously, Huts went away. We had Carlos Cuella and Davy Weir, so I wasn't getting in at centre back. And Huts got sold, and the gaffer asked me to play full back. I was still going to do it to play for Rangers, and ended up doing all right, and then ended up staying there. And then what's kind of killed me as well, I could play left back, centre back. So if somebody got injured, I'd get moved to play that position, and then Wits would come in and probably do all right. So he would go midfield. So in a way, it was a compliment because you could play different positions. But I would have rather just been a centre back, and people see me as a centre back at Rangers because I could at that time I was fit and I could run, I could step forward, and that's probably why I could play full back. Whereas I'd have liked to have done it for centre back and stepping forward, which I'm still doing now. But Rangers fans will not remember me as a centre back. They'll always see me because I played more games as a full back.
That boy's been absolutely brilliant.
Enjoyed that.
Favourite porno. No, like, thank you very much. Superb, lad, brilliant.